Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with another blind reaction to Masters of the Universe Revelation, specifically episode 2. And last time we had our first dose of this series, and it was actually really good. It had a good amount of nostalgia for the classic He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, while also changing things up enough to make it more interesting, unique, and standalone. It also allows it to really play around with the idea of a series like this instead of just kind of giving us the backstory and starting over with how Prince Adam became He-Man and everything. It takes place a good amount of time into his reign is probably the wrong word, but his time being He-Man. He's been He-Man for quite a long time now. Has been fighting against the forces of Skeletor and Evelyn for a while, and so it's like we're not starting at the beginning. This kind of, as I said last time, it's kind of not really meant to be a starting point for this franchise. It's meant to be for people who already know the property, who already know these characters. Uh, and so it's interesting in that regard. It's very unique, and it allows the first episode to have a massive surprise cliffhanger in it that really helps it stand apart in all kinds of new, fresh ways. So I really liked this. I really thought this was a great first episode, and now I hope episode 2 continues that. I hope that it continues to showcase a whole new and exciting take on this kind of property. Just like She-Ra and the Princesses of Power did. Obviously not connected, but still. Either way, yeah, I'm very excited to check out more of this, and so we're just going to get this going. When the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and it fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Definite highlight of this series is the plethora of buff ladies we're getting. I mean, Teela is probably the buffest of them that we can tell right now. Followed very closely, though, by Evelyn. And Andra has some muscle definition to her as well, just not as much. But Teela, it's like, good God, girl. I'm not going to get too horny here, but yes. Yes, please. But even outside of just the aesthetic pleasantries there, this was another really good episode. We cut to some point in the future, years in the future, as we can tell from the fact that the sorceress has aged quite a bit. I could even see it being like a decade into the future. I could completely believe that. Like, Teela looks older for sure, not like too much older, but definitely still older. And other characters like the villains of Snake Mountain and all, you can't really tell with them, but that little glimpse you get at Man-at-Arms, he definitely looks older and more ragged and everything, of course. Evelyn even looks a little bit older. So it's like, I like how they, even if it's more subtle with some of the characters, they make them look older. Also, I don't know if this is actually where it is going. It's kind of unclear if it's the case or not. But, excuse me. Wow. I felt that coming. I knew it was coming. So I was prepared for it, at least. But yeah, I don't know if it's the case or not. It was pretty unclear on what the actual intent was. But there was some dialogue and some, like, the way they interacted that made it look like Teela and Andra might be a couple. And I could believe that. If I remember right, Kevin Smith is very much an ally and everything. I believe his daughter is actually bi, if I'm remembering correct. I could look that up real quick. I believe she is. Here, I actually have the. Just look it up through here. Because his daughter, Harley Quinn Smith, yes, named for the character of Harley Quinn, is actually in this series, so I could just look it up through there. Yes, she's bi. She's also a vegan. Um, so yeah, he very much is an ally and everything, and so maybe this is intentional. Maybe he wanted to include representation in this series, and if so, that's fucking awesome. But it's vague at the moment, so it's like Teela and Andra could be a couple, or they could just be very close friends. It's vague enough to where it could be either. And the thing is, you could 100% see it as see them as a couple. Again, with the dialogue, the way they speak to each other, the way they talk and interact with each other. Um, but you could also 100% see it as them just being friends. And I hope we get some kind of confirmation one way or the other. I don't mind if they're just friends. I would obviously love if they were a couple, but I just want confirmation one way or the other. But yeah, it was. It's very interesting, nonetheless, and I would love to see more about their relationship explored, like maybe learning about how they first met. Um, we also get a little quest in this episode, dealing um, with Triclops and his new cult. um, so Evelyn, disguised as this old woman, sends Teela and Andra on a quest to Snake Mountain to retrieve a cup that Triclops currently has a hold of. They go there, they face down the enemies, and realize that Triclops is creating a cyborg cult, which is pretty interesting. Um, they manage to fight their way through the cult. They manage to get the cup, and they escape. They bring the cup back to the disguised Evelyn, and she has them do another mission to go to Grayskull this time. And so they go there, but that's when it's revealed who she is, and Teela had figured that out. And it's revealed that Evelyn's actually kind of on the side of good at the moment, which is surprising, especially considering her name. But I also don't trust it. I think that Evelyn is doing this for her own sake and has probably got some kind of evil plan in the background. But apparently the sorceress called upon her because with the magic draining from Eternia, the planet is dying. And if the planet dies, the entire universe dies because it's all connected. Everything was created through the magic that created Eternia. And that would birth the rest of the universe's planets and societies as well. And so if the magic is gone from Eternia, the planet will die and take everything with it. And so that's not great. So I think Evelyn is trying to help in this regard, but she has like an ulterior motive that is just beyond the fact that, oh, she doesn't want to die and she's doing this for her own sake as well. No, I think there's also another ulterior motive playing in the background. I don't know what it is, but I'm sure it's pretty damn evil. And I still don't fully believe that Skeletor and Adam are gone for good. But with this being a notable time skip, again, it's very clear that it's a notable amount of time that has passed. I'm just wondering, like, when or how are they going to return? I'm very, very curious to see what is done with this as we continue on. But for now, though, it seems like the sorceress, Evelyn, and then Teela and Andra are going to work together. Teela and Andra need to kind of get the swords back that had split from the original power sword, bring them back together, forge them back together to bring the magic back to Eternia and save it. So we'll see how that goes. Teela at first wants nothing to do with it because she's left all this behind. She's kind of abandoned everything for all these years after what had happened. We saw that in the last episode. Also, I wonder where the king and queen are currently. Like, are they still king and queen, or are they gone? Like, what's happened with that, I wonder. But Cringer is actually the one to help Teela come to terms with things, to realize her fear, as well as to remind her that Adam cared greatly for her as her best friend, and that he made the sacrifice he did because he knew she would be there to help in the aftermath. And it worked. It was a completely successful little speech there, and Teela accepted what she needed to do. And I'm glad it didn't take too long, because a lot of these stories will take a long time with that. We'll, like, have the character go, like, I don't want to say emo, but have them be, like, super, like, angsty about it for a long time. And so I'm glad that this one resolved fairly quickly, and that she's back into being a hero again. And I'm sure she still has her misgivings about everything. She's still, like, upset at everything that had happened. The fact that Adam did hide his secret from her. The fact that others had been lying to her and everything. I'm sure there's still a lot of issues that she's going to have to work through in that regard. But at least she's willing to fight again for, heroic reasons, other than just trying to survive. But yeah, I do want to know a lot about what happened during this time. Again, especially how she met Andra, how they began working together and possibly became a couple. I'm still shipping it, whether it's real or not. We'll see. But I like that they got Henry Rollins, because it's like I knew I recognized Triclops' voice here, and I think he spoke in the first episode too, but it didn't click with me in that one. But I'm hearing him here, and it's like, wait, no, that voice sounds really familiar. Like I very much know a very specific character for that voice. And I'm trying to put it together. I ended up having to look it up, and it's like, oh fuck, it's Zahir. It's 100% Zahir. It's like, the instant I knew that, it's just like, yeah, obviously. And that's how it tends to go a lot. It's like, oh, you hear a voice, you recognize it, you can't place it. Then when you know who it is, it's like super bloody obvious. And that's definitely how it was. It's like I heard, or I saw that it was him, and it's like, oh, yeah. No, it's super obvious now. And it's funny, too, because he like, Triclops is, like, leading this techno cult in here, and Zahir was the leader of the Red Lotus, an almost cult-like revolutionary group in Legend of Korra. And so it's like, does he just play these characters a lot? It said he was also in Batman Beyond, but I didn't recognize the name of the character. I'd have to look it up again to see what it was again. But he was also in Batman Beyond Return of the Joker, the movie specifically, so that's also pretty interesting. Again, I didn't recognize the name of his character, though. I don't think it was, like, Robin at all. So, yeah, it wasn't anyone, like, big like that who was in it. Either way, yeah, this definitely continued to follow up on the setup of the first episode really well. We got some flashback stuff with Teela and Adam. We got some new setup for the future And I'm very, very excited to see where this goes. Also, the fact that this was released in two halves, like 5 episodes at a time, I'm really wondering how that's going to, like, pace itself. Like, is episode 5 going to read as a mid-season finale of sorts? I'm just curious as how that's going to feel with its pacing and everything. And again, it is supposed to be continuing with Masters of the Universe Revolution when that comes out, but that's not out yet. So we just have to base this on what we're seeing now, and what we're seeing now is pretty damn good. So I'm very impressed. I very much enjoyed this. Let me know in the comments, though, what did you think of this second episode of Masters of the Universe Revelation? For the time being, though, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.